Ask Mr. Greenthumb and Real Estate Show with Stan DeFreitas, the dad, and James DeFreitas, the son. For the next hour, call in with your questions in gardening, growing your favorite veggies, and growing your profits in real estate. Locally, call 813-289-1860. Toll free 877-969-8600. And now, your hosts, Stan and James DeFreitas.
And I am Stan DeFreitas, the dad, and there we are.
There the mic is in.
There we go. We got Mr. Mikey in there, Mr. Radio, and you are.
And I am James DeFreitas, the son, and we are here for the next 55 minutes to talk about gardening and or real estate. So if you want to give us a call, you certainly can. The telephone number to reach us today is 813-289-1860, or if you want to call in toll-free, it's 877-969-8600.
And I couldn't say it better. We might say also, I know I get a little frustrated when you talk to a young agent who goes, hey, I got the listing yesterday and I sold it today. But I've got to say, kudos to James and myself. We had a listing last Friday and we sold it last Saturday. It's partly because the market is just really hot. And it's funny because you get people that come in and go, I'm going to lowball you. There's always what I call lowballers that come in and want to offer you, half of what the property is probably worth. But in this case, we got someone who actually paid, what we were asking for and a little bit more. Right. So that was a wonderful thing. And now we can run around and go, yeah, we sold them in 24 hours, and which is, I don't know, if you're not selling that one in 24 hours, you look over it, especially if somebody is like, oh, I've been in the business for 28 days. You're going, 28 days, and the young whippersnapper is selling stuff left and right. And part of it's just because the market right now is on fire.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, too, is that, I see a lot of professional agents out there, but the one thing I will say is if the home is priced correctly and there aren't a lot of major problems with the home and it's in a decent area, again, it should sell.
Yep.
And it should sell rather quickly in this market. Now, the properties that are sitting, there's more wrong with them. They're not in the best location, and maybe the seller has been very stingy in terms of what they are willing to offer the property at in terms of to get it sold at the correct price.
True.
And it's not always, and a lot of times, too, agents want to price the property, correctly and in line with their market comps. But then the seller comes in and goes, no, we're going to price it at this price because this is what I think it's worth. And, of course, a lot of sellers, some of them are very experienced and have the right to
add their input.
To add their input and to have that thought. But a lot of times, in my mind, the property winds up sitting, and then it's just my dumb agent. He didn't know how to price it. And then all of a sudden the seller seems to try to absolve themselves from any responsibility from the initial pricing, except for they're the ones that put their heels down.
True. Very true. Well, I think we've got a guest on here with us, guys. I think we've got, I don't see it on my screen, but I think we have Judy is there, right? Judy is still there. Judy is our
yes.
Good morning, Judy.
Good morning.
We're glad you're with us, and tell us a little bit about who you are. And I know who you are because I talked with you, but tell everybody who you are and what you're doing, and maybe one of your favorite listings.
Okay, very good. I am Judy Nicolosi, realtor with Charles Ruttenberg Realty. I came to Tampa Bay area in 2005 with a mortgage closing company and transitioned into real estate in 2006. And I basically cover the whole Tampa Bay area, and I'm fortunate to work with a lot of referrals for friends, relatives, that kind of thing. But, yeah, I agree with you 100%. Oh, my goodness, it's a great seller's market.
It seems to be just on fire. Have you ever seen the market more on fire than now?
Yeah.
You have? Okay.
Back 2007, 2008.
Well, of course, back then, we had a lot of short sales and stuff going on back then too, right?
The short sale crisis.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, we all wondered what in the world is a short sale. We had to go learn about it.
True, very true. And hopefully, I think we will again. I mean, I did talk to a young agent recently who said, "Gosh, this is great, and it's always going to be like this." And I said, "No, all things change, and you will find some ups and downs. Now we have a month or month and a half of inventory." I said, but when you do go back to 2 years of inventory, things will change back the other way. And
exactly.
I thought, now you're an experienced agent, so you know that. Yeah, go ahead.
That's when the buyers are happy. Yes.
True. Then they can go and say, we want this, 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 and this, and we want to pay less. So
Exactly.
do you have people now wanting to offer more? Like, here's the offer, but we're willing to get more. We'll put in more for an offer because we really want to make sure?
Yes, definitely. As a matter of fact, we all have those stories in the past, this 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And I put a beautiful home on the market. It was listed at $495. We were getting offers $505. We got an offer at $520.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, just because people had lost so many houses, and this was a large property with a barn and extra workshop and 2 acres, et cetera, but people just said, this is what I want. So, yeah, sellers are having a lot of fun right now, and, buyers are getting beautiful, beautiful homes for a good price. They just have to kind of scramble a little bit to put their offer in before anyone else does.
Yeah, and what I'm hearing too, Judy, is from our fellow RE/MAX Metro colleagues is that a lot of stuff is happening behind the scenes. I mean, they're almost they're starved for listings at least in our little pocket in downtown St. Petersburg, and so they're winding up. Hey, do you know about anything that might be coming onto the market? I'm hearing a lot of chatter like that going on. Are you seeing that with Charles Ruttenberg as well?
Yeah, we're always talking to people ahead of time, a number of months ahead of time. As a matter of fact, I have one that will be on the market next week. So when I'm talking to people who might be interested in this Land O'Lakes community, Wilderness Lake Preserve, I've already shown it once.
Oh, okay.
Even though it's not quite ready to go.
Sure. No, I understand. I mean, it's always that fine line of, making sure you have the clear cooperation agreement in there with MLS and making sure that but and we're in the same boat. I mean, you want to tell as many people as you can and make sure that you keep the MLS people happy. So it's, but at the end of the day, our main goal is to take these properties and get them sold. And as our former colleague used to say, we want to make sure that we're doing it on their time, getting the most money, and getting it done as quickly as possible. So it's it's one of these things where in this market, I'm just stunned, because I see our other colleagues going, hey. Hey Rachel, do you know is that listing going to come up next week? Because I want to have first dibs. My buyers went in on that.
Exactly. And yes, you're 100% right. Just for anyone out there worried about that we're MLS guidelines completely. And in that case, I already did have the listing agreement plus the MLS agreement to show prior to advertising.
Yes. Oh, then you're good. Then if I were you, I'd go ahead and give out the address and everything then.
And give your phone number out.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I'll be glad to do that. It's 7301 Night Heron Drive, Land O'Lakes, and it's 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, 3650 square feet on a third of an acre, with a pool, no rear neighbors, and just new, built in 2008, but new ACs, new pool pump, all kinds of just beautiful, beautiful updates with the granites and new plank flooring, etc. So
that's awesome. What's the starting price?
We are going on the market at $479,000.
Oh, that sounds like a bargain. For that kind of square footage, the pool, everything you'd ever want. It sounds like they should be speed dialing you to find out more about that property and to get ready to put in an offer before it even hits the market.
And speaking of speed dialing, what's your number?
My number is 813-600-9848.
All right, and give it out again. Always in radio. When I first started in radio 40 years ago, they always said, no, make sure you give the numbers out twice because people, by the time you give it out the second time, they've got their pin ready and they're right.
Okay.
Go get it.
Very good. It's 813-600-9848.
Well, great. We're glad we could give you a little showcase here today because, well, that's what we're doing. When we talked to our boss at RE/MAX, we said, look, we're going to get people in from everywhere. Do you mind? And they said, no, we don't mind. We want you to help everybody out there. Yeah, we want you to help RE/MAX Metro the most, but if you can help other people, we have that kind of management that says, hey,
right,
help everybody.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that kind of makes, having an auction division for our company different is it allows Stan and I to be able to work with anybody out there, and it kind of changes the roles because when I first started in the business, I didn't realize the dog-eat-dog mentality that other agents had for other agents. So it's a really nice position for us to be in. We can sit back and I go, hey, listen, we're not competing with you. One of the things that we do is we try to make relationships, create relationships, via the radio show and trying to push other people's businesses. And then that way, if they ever do get into trouble or if they ever have a problem where a listing is sitting a little too long or they have a client that needs to sell really quickly and say they're not in a good position to accept one of these offer pad things, or maybe it's, the price is too high, or, maybe it's a situation. We had a guy that was wanted to sell his property quickly last year, and he said, guys, I'm taking a job out west. I don't have time to do a 180-day listing. That's why, I was put in touch with you guys so that maybe, you guys can help me get it done. And of course we did. We had it done in about 40 days. And at that time, you say 40 days and, and they're like, oh, that's so much quicker. Well, now that would sound, catastrophically slow. So, you just have to know the market you're in. But, at least in his situation, it was one of those things where we could try to ensure a more definite timeline. And again, the higher you go up in price, to the comps that can be found, the longer that it might take to find that right buyer.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, we want to thank you for being with us, Judy.
Yeah, thanks so much for the phone call.
Pleasure.
Yes. And we want to thank you.
Great show, and we love RE/MAX. Work with many, many wonderful RE/MAX agents.
Oh, awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you
for
so
being
much,
with
Judy.
us.
We appreciate you.
And if you want to give us a call, we'll give you out the numbers in a second.
Absolutely. 813-289-1860.
And give them the other number.
Sure, 877-969-8600.
Stay with us as the Plant Talk and Real Estate Talk continues.
Want to talk real estate auctions? Call James DeFreitas at 727-254-7127 or go online at aflre.com. Welcome back to the Ask Mr. Greenthumb and Real Estate Show. Got questions about perennial problems with flowers? What about issues with closing on your newest property? Call now, 813-289-1860. Toll free, 877-969-8600. And now, your hosts, Stan and James DeFreitas.
And it's fun working with my son in radio. I've been doing this for about 40 years, and you've been doing it for about 15, 16 weeks? Maybe 20?
I think we've actually, this is like the 22nd show, but of course, you got to subtract a few out of that because I've missed a few shows with different things going on in my life. But a whopping 22 weeks of experience.
And you just got a new puppy in your family, which
yeah, we did. It was one of these things where we decided, again, it's always kind of a touchy thing because if you have a pet that you've had, like we did with our previous Beagle hound that we had, Lily, and she, we had her for 10 plus years, and she was a total sweetheart. And, so the question becomes, when you have to make that difficult decision when the dog is having trouble, how long do you wait? Is there a statutory period, and it turns out you just have to kind of figure out for yourself how long you think you should wait in between the dogs, between having one put down and going to get another dog. And, so for us, it was 3.5 weeks. So, now I'm assuming some people will be like, oh, that's too soon. Well, potentially. I mean, I could see that'd be a good argument. You could say that. But I would also say that, do you really honor the pet's memory that you had to put down if you harden your heart off to taking on a new dog? I'm not. So that's kind of my thoughts to it. And, and the reality is that there are so many dogs out there that need a home. And so we went over there to the Tampa Bay Beagle Rescue people. And I don't know if anybody knows about Tampa Bay Beagle Rescue, but you can go onto their Facebook page. And it's a tremendous organization. They tend to try to find, and again, it's not just, strictly, purebred beagles, although they do have those too, I think, from time to time. But they do have, beagle hounds and mixes, and, and the dog we got is, she's definitely some kind of beagle hound slash, I don't know, she seems like she has a lot of whippet-like characteristics. She's probably not all of those things, but she's definitely beagle hound, but she just flies around, and we're stunned by her speed, and she's not very big. She's all of 22 pounds, and just shy of 2 years of age, and acts like a puppy and flying around the house.
You said she might have some Jack Russell Terrier.
Could be Jack Russell Terrier. Very high energy, more than I would have expected.
Because those dogs are energy bound.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous energy level, which is fine. 'Cause, so the big issue is not really the new dog. The big issue for us is we have another dog, Cappy, who's been, has the only child syndrome going on, and when I say spoiled, I mean you're having to buy birthday gifts when it's not her birthday.
Cartman.
You're having to take her. If you take her to another dog's birthday party, you're having to bring gifts for your dog in order for her to feel good about the dog's birthday party to open those gifts. So. Yeah, it's definitely, it's one of these things where I find that it's an interesting process. Not a whole lot of sleep last night, but not because of the new dog. It's really just trying to figure out how to get the old dog to hook up with the new dog and not eat new dog. So,
yeah. That would be ideal if they both can get along.
That's my goal is, hey, don't take any big chompers. Don't take any big bites out of the new dog, please. So right at the moment, we have them separated. We have the new dog crated, so as to try to give her the space she needs in order to feel safe. So
makes sense. I was going to say, noticing in horticulture, I see the golden rain trees are starting to bloom with the yellow bloom, and then it quickly will turn to a kind of a pink papery seed capsule behind it. And to me, it's one of the signals that we are going into our fall season. I mean, it's hard to tell when it's rainy and 90 degrees. It's hard to sometimes go, well, we're not getting the color change that you get in many other parts of our country. But there are plants that will start to flower now that typically won't flower any other time. It's got to be exactly, it seems to be a phototropic response because of the light level. And I don't think it's so much to the temperature right now because we're still but we have had a little bit of cool. We got that little tempting of cool for a few days.
Yeah, that was sweet. I mean, you're waking up and feeling the temperature. I was like, oh, all right. Well, yeah, it's changing slowly as it does. But yeah, it was another reminder that, the temperature was nice and, surely was welcomed. I mean, it was, we walked the dogs the other day. It was like, I think we went out there and it was, 62 degrees or something like that.
It was like you're in heaven.
Yeah, it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. So that can stick around. The wet, rainy, humidity, and hot, that can go. I think we're all tired of that. But it was really nice change and another reminder that time is marching on.
It is. Well, I'm going to say that one of the ways that I like to garden is the Earth Box, who's come on as one of our new sponsors now. And I've been using Earth Boxes for probably, 25 years, for a long, long time. And we did some TV with Blake. As a
matter of fact, I still have the Earth Box that he signed, Blake Wisnett signed, and it's on the side of my house. And I honestly, it's... to me, it's a treasure because it's the guy. That's the guy that founded this thing, and not a lot of people know that was the founder and the genius behind the product.
The thing I love about gardening in particular, it doesn't matter if you're black, you're white, whatever, your religion, your politics, all of us can garden, and it brings us down to a simple thing of look at the beauty of nature.
Right.
Enjoy it.
It's a unifying force.
It is, and that's what we need, I think, in this world right now, more so than ever.
Agreed. Absolutely. And if you want to talk about a wonderful unifying force, you can call us on the air, 813-289-1860, or toll free, 877-969-8600. We are here for you.
The Plant Talk and Real Estate Talk continues here on AM 860, The Answer.
Interested in having a home consult? Remember, you can reach Stan at 727-423-4794 or on the web at askmrgreenthumb.com. Welcome back to the Ask Mr. Greenthumb and Real Estate Show. Connect online at askmrgreenthumb.com. Got questions on gardening, real estate, or both? Call now, 813-289-1860. Toll free, 877-969-8600. And now, your hosts, Stan and James DeFreitas.
And we're here to answer your questions. We might say we're also glad that Stafford Tree Service is a new sponsor with us as well. And, of course, I've seen their work. They do a great job, and that's always nice. You know, when you recommend someone, and I usually don't recommend too many people, but I have a few tree services over the years. I could always recommend Utsi and know that he was going to do a great job. And the same thing with Stafford. Recommended them recently for a job in Tampa, and they did the job. And I've heard through the grapevine, through the tree vine, that people were happy. They said, they cleaned up well, everything looks good. They made sure they did a fantastic job.
Well, if they get the stamp of of Mr. Greenthumb as the seal of approval, if you will. I mean, we try to make sure that anybody that we're, going to have on the air or part of the commercials, or not just a product that we're recommending, just because that they're sponsors, but because we believe in it, and and that's and the one thing I would say about Stafford is that my townhome community. They take care of the trees on my townhome community every year. And again, that's not how they came to our show either. I mean, that's another testimonial in and of itself. I happened to hear after the fact. I was like, oh, I've seen their trucks. They're around our community, So, it's that could have been a way that I would have known about them, but it just that's not how they came to us as far as a sponsorship opportunity. But yeah, they do a fantastic job. They go through and. And again, real surgical. The commercial plays a chainsaw noise, but that's really just to get your attention.
And it does.
And it does. And why not? It's Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. I mean, everyone loves chainsaw noise that early, right?
Well, it's only a little bit of a chainsaw noise, right. So that's just enough to pique your interest. Yeah, and I would say I've worked with Kelly. She's recommended me before. I am a certified arborist that I never carry a chainsaw, but I do work in court cases as an eminent domain, and I probably worked in 500 of them.
And I've helped in a few.
And in fact, I was talking to our buddy the other day, Paul Blucher, who is an eminent domain in the Sarasota area.
What a great guy! That is an amazing guy who has lived an amazing life. I mean, in terms of, having been a police officer and then shifted from being a detective to being a lawyer and being in the eminent domain field. With all the stories you've told me, and I haven't had a whole lot of personal conversations with him, not like you've had, but it seems like an amazing person.
He is a great guy. We're going to have him on sometime, too. I said, hey,
that'd be great.
Might have him come into studio, or we may have him just do a phone call. But either way is fine, and we made it easy, just like we did for Judy. The first caller of the day here, we had Judy on, who's an agent, and I talked with some of the experienced agents that are in Tampa Bay, and I invite them. Some of them are always going, "What's your angle? What do I have to buy?"
Well, and in fairness, I mean, let's be honest here, and let me be very real. You pick up your phone, it's a number you don't know. It's usually somebody trying to sell you something. And so and especially another real estate agent calling you, and for them to not want anything other than to say, hi, I'm Stan or I'm James, and we just want to promote your business. And by the way, if you ever need us for to help you on a listing or something like that, we're here. I think it's very weird because, we're being magnanimous, and that is a rare trait in society today.
I often tell them, no fee, no charge. I'm just trying to help you.
Yeah.
What are you trying to help me for? I go,
Right.
I go, well, what's your bottom motive? And I said, well, someday down the road, if you do need us.
Yeah, but there's no obligation whatsoever to ever use
I don't put
this.
that on anybody.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I look at it. It's like paying it forward. You throw some good out there, see what comes back to you, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. But you still did good. So to me, that is a business philosophy that should be part of the DNA. I think that's what we should all try to strive for.
I agree. Well, one thing I loved about Terry Kelly, our last market president we worked with, he said, hey, even though you guys are leaving, I'll be your biggest supporter. I mean, and Terry has that, and it's genuine. You can tell he's a great guy who wants to make sure you can help other people. And we helped the agent last week who worked with BHHS, and I'm glad we could help. Somebody who we talked to.
Tom Kinman.
Another good guy. We may get him on the air with us, too, sometime.
We should get him on here. Yeah, he's up there like in the Spring Hill,
Newport Richie.
That's kind of his stomping ground area. But another wonderful professional agent who is, he's top of his game, and he's got that area. I mean, he was telling me, here we were selling the home in Arapika, which, by the way, I'd never heard of before, ever, Arapika. I've heard of Hudson, but I've never heard of the small little fishing village up there. Kind of two-lane road in and out. But it's again, to me, it's a little slice of old Florida. It's kind of, it looks like a small town, with small town values, and
300 people.
Yeah, 300 people.
I guess its claim to fame is Babe Ruth used to fish up there.
Well, I could see that. I mean, that it, and then they have that. Where I noticed they have that stone crab. When we drove by, that seems to be their. That's what's on the map. There is going to their stone crab store up there. I don't know if they call it a store or what the correct nomenclature is for that. But needless to say, we drove by that, and then my goodness, there's you're looking left and right, and I'm just seeing Florida native after native, which is what's supposed to be there. Palm salt? What do they call it? Saw palmettos.
Oh yeah, a bunch of saw palmettos and a bunch of reeds and salt material. What amazes me is too that little 10 by 10 foot post office that they brought in there.
That thing's cool, man. I really like that post office.
It's it's from a. In fact, I like it better than the new one they have built that's made with concrete block. There's some charm with the old post office, and I agree with you. I have been past Arapika 100 times, 1,000 times probably. We used to go to Homosassa all the time, and trailer a boat up there. Right,
drive right by it, but never really stopped in there. And literally, this house that we sold in Arapika was 60 feet. I mean, I thought the seller was kidding when he told us it was 60 feet from the Gulf, and he wasn't. I mean, literally, and the first thing I noticed is just like you might expect. You get out and really had a strong, Gulf breeze kind of coming in on you, and I mean that in the best possible light. It wasn't like red tide or anything. I don't give that a mental image.
Beautiful place. I mean, I kept thinking. I know our buddy Krishnans who was watching. I almost called up Krishna and said, "Hey, I've got a deal for you up in Arapika if you want to come that far north." And I think he would have said, "No, I want to stay where I can teach tennis more."
Right.
But
and who would have thought that would have been such a hot area, though? I mean, I really wasn't expecting it. But I must say, if something like that comes up again, I think I'd be interested in buying a place up there just for like a little weekend retreat kind of thing,
like a little fishing camp or something.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like a little weekend family getaway thing where you could just. I could see where families would be really interested in scooping up the kids and the dog and heading up there for the weekend and do some fishing and have some family time. I mean,
that place was big enough too where you could have two families in there. You had two kitchens.
Yeah, you really could. Yeah, I mean, I think that in that particular situation, that particular home, I mean, it was, having looked at it, more than, you look at a property, you try to assess how hot something is, or how God forbid you take on something that's stale,
right?
But you try to assess it the best you can. But the reality of it is, and especially in the auction business, we're doing our best, educated, determining on whether or not the property, if we're pricing it correctly, how many comps we can find that have sold in the area in the last 6 to 8 months, and then looking to see how long the property has been on the market. And this is just one of those perfect examples that when it was priced correctly, multiple offers were coming in on the place and in short order. And again, is it that Stan and I were such great agents? Well, of course.
Yeah.
But
Anthony Canaris is watching too, so he's going,
oh,
yeah, guys.
That's right. Is it us? Is it because we're just that amazing? Well, yeah. But I would also say pricing the place and getting it priced correctly, that's almost as important as anything that an agent can do.
And Anthony can help there because he's an appraiser and
right, and a market president, a wealth of knowledge. That is another awesome dude. I love Anthony Canaris up there, who I guess runs the Brooksville office.
Yep, he's a go-getter. He's got people coming on left, right, and in between. So
yeah, I saw that. It looked like he had an attorney had come on board from his Facebook posting. So
just to show you, we pay attention, Anthony.
That's right, we do. And but he's a great leader, and proud to call him a friend.
Sure, just the same thing we do with Terry Kelly, another great. They're both good guys. So they say we're the kind of guys, even when we leave somewhere, we don't really leave. We still try to keep our friendships with everybody because we don't look at it as a zero-sum game that you have to lose for us to win.
Exactly, and that speaks to the way our business philosophy is. I mean, I want to help anybody and everybody if I can. And if I can, you and I are pretty upfront about that too. Hey, look, I think that your pricing is so competitive. I'm not sure that will be that much help to you in an auction. And we do sometimes turn away properties. We don't take on everything, but the properties we do take on, we try to be pretty confident that we can get them done because we owe that to your client and to you as our client. So.
That's true. Well, we're going to tell you can give us a call. We'll give you the professional numbers here at 1-877-969-8600 or 813, that's local, 813-289-1860. We'll put you on the air with us.
Yeah, I can't do it that professional.
Well, I've been doing it for 40 years. I should be able to punch the numbers on occasion. Nice. I used to work with Jocular Jack. Anyway, from, by God, West Virginia. But I've worked with all the major stars, Ted Webb. Hey, but buddy, if you're not ahead, no, we'll go to that one. No, don't go into that one. Stay with us as the Plant Talk continues.
Want to talk?
Trees. I always like to say my first love is horticulture. My second love is probably real estate because that's where I made my fortune. No, they're going, oh, law, Greenthumb made his first billion right here in Tampa Bay.
We're not quite on par with our Remax Metro brethren yet, but we can aspire to.
That's right.
But I will say, I haven't begun my cheerleading phase yet on selling the Arapica property so quickly, but that's coming. So we will be cheerleading next week.
I wanted to start the cheer today, but
I want to prep people in advance. Yes, we do have some pom-poms, and I do have I've been practicing my baton twirling. So we'll tape a little segment where we're and then we'll
have to get that on the Facebook Live where you during your
and we'll have like a little marching band. I don't want to go over the top with it though. I don't want people to think we're being obnoxious, but yes, it will be a full marching band.
No blues, marching band. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I do think that people that are not in real estate probably are looking at going, wow, I wonder how many Facebook posts I'm going to have to look at today of people talking about, I took that listing and sold it in 37 seconds.
A new personal record.
Now, I understand. I mean, Facebook's a great tool. It lets people know, that you're in the business, and it lets people know that you're successful. And so I get it. I totally understand it. And it's definitely a good thing to do. So on the horticulture side,
Earthbox. I'm thinking about putting in tomatoes, peppers, string beans, or pole beans, maybe both. I'm trying to think of stuff that I'm always thinking stuff I can eat. Because I get a big kick of going out and...
you just like telling the Publix produce department, I'm not paying those prices.
Well, it's true. It's the Browbrick Moonlick Nick. If it's not Scottish.
It's we can't say that word on there.
I've got a wee bit of Scots in me. But I'm a typical American, which means I'm a pretty much a plethora of almost everything out there, and that's fine.
Would you say it's a plethora?
I would say it's a
pinatas?
plethora, El Gapo. It is, and I do. That's fine. That's what Americans are. Most of us are a mix of a bunch of things,
right?
And that's wonderful, and we should celebrate that.
Right.
We all have some differences, and we all have some great things that we can bring forth, and that's what brings us together.
Right.
Not what separates us and makes us apart.
Yeah, and I always find it kind of funny, too, and we don't talk politics a whole lot on the air, but one of the things I would say is I maintain a very good friendship with people that are on the left, and I maintain a very good relationship with friends on the right.
I try to, too.
You know, and I just, well, and again, my heart of hearts is an independent. I mean, I believe and you know, and I think that we should try harder to focus on what unites us and stop looking at the few things that really pulls us apart. And I so encourage that, because it's just not what